By continuously querying OpenAI's API and inputting text to obtain responses, you can collect the output results. Then, by using this collected data, you can train models like DeepSeek v3 or the recently sensational R1. These models can then provide answers similar to ChatGPT or achieve comparable performance. Hello everyone, this is Error speaking. This is Error crossing the Pacific. Microsoft has discovered suspicious activities by DeepSeek. These involve extracting large datasets from OpenAI's API. This is currently under investigation and has caused controversy. Due to DeepSeek's prominence, there seems to be strategic scrutiny from the US. It appears that they are using the pretext of protecting data to carry out data security and censorship. On one hand, Microsoft is conducting a thorough investigation into this issue, but at the same time, they have also made an official announcement about DeepSeek's highly controversial R1 model. This model is set to be added to the model catalog of their Microsoft Azure AI Foundry cloud service, even as they continue to examine potential problems with DeepSeek. At the same time, Microsoft is rapidly supporting the open model ecosystem, especially for Windows-based systems. You know this NPU, right? Microsoft is dedicated to optimizing the DeepSeek R1 model for seamless operation on NPUs, enabling developers to build AI applications using this advanced technology. This reflects Microsoft's dual strategy in the current tech landscape, so let's take a moment to summarize the situation and discuss how this data can be effectively managed. Let's explore how Microsoft is extracting and applying this data, and whether this is a plausible scenario. We will also consider Microsoft's potential future actions, whether this turns out to be true or not. To start, there is a service called Azure AI Foundry by Microsoft. Think of it as a platform designed for those developing AI models with cloud infrastructure. For those who need it, many of you might be developing and applying AI through the Azure cloud. They have not only the GPT model from OpenAI, but many other AI models. When companies or research institutions want to use these large-scale AI models, they cannot set up servers individually, especially without a budget. Instead, by using the Azure cloud, they can develop and it allows training, building applications, and deploying them on this platform. Right now, a large number of developers are preparing to utilize this platform. Microsoft is not only acquiring the latest NVIDIA GPUs, such as the H100 and A100, but is also planning to develop their own custom chips. This initiative is aimed at making these AI models accessible to both major tech companies and other enterprises. Microsoft is working to commercialize this technology to facilitate development. On January 29th, they revealed that DeepSeek R1 is now available. It can be accessed through Azure AI Foundry and GitHub. Developers are invited to start using it right away. This announcement was made on Microsoft's website. As an open model, it is likely to attract a large number of developers. Therefore, by utilizing DeepSeek R1, which is acclaimed for its affordability and powerful capabilities, developers can play a crucial role in building AI applications. From Microsoft's perspective, this would result in a broader Windows ecosystem as more AI applications are developed for Windows. Furthermore, Windows would become a platform for a wide array of applications. It seems like just as Google Android initially saw an explosive increase in apps, Windows can do the same. Right now, it can be used in this way. Up to this point, Microsoft is seen as being on the same side as DeepSeek, as an ally, saying let's expand your ecosystem and let Microsoft benefit as well. However, at the same time, they are investigating DeepSeek. They are treating them like criminals. This was reported by the Wall Street Journal. OpenAI is investigating now. There are currently speculations about whether DeepSeek has utilized OpenAI's model for its training processes. In the end, they are trying to verify whether or not OpenAI's ChatGPT was used to generate data, which was then potentially used to train their own models. There have been actual reports about this issue. According to OpenAI, several organizations based in China have attempted to extract large amounts of data using AI tools. Why would they be doing that? We call this distillation when training our model, right? I'll explain the distillation process again in a bit. OpenAI, after all, provides an API, right? They can extract data by repeatedly calling the API. The API is designed to provide responses to various queries, but some users from China were not just engaging in normal Q&A, they were making an unusually high number of requests to extract data. This activity was noticed around the fall season. Microsoft security researchers are believed to have started examining activities related to DeepSeek. It was noted that the discovery occurred last fall. Despite being referred to as OpenAI, all of OpenAI's models operate on Microsoft's Azure platform. Thus, during the surveillance of traffic through Microsoft's security API, they likely detected some anomalous activities. Considering DeepSeek is a Chinese company and OpenAI is an American one, it's likely that the data extraction occurred online. Since Microsoft operates data centers worldwide, if suspicious activities are detected at a specific location and linked to a Chinese IP, it would naturally raise concern, especially given the way they oversee their APIs. In the context of Azure OpenAI, leveraging OpenAI's API involves keeping detailed logs of usage metrics, types of requests, and response data. By analyzing these logs, it becomes possible to identify usage patterns and detect if a particular account is making an unusually large number of data requests, indicating a heavy user rather than a typical one. This means that they can fully understand these things. For instance, there might be a sudden surge in network traffic or a specific IP address, a particular region, which seems to be associated with DeepSeek. It is likely that sensitive information could be leaked through these channels. Nowadays, such issues are detected using machine learning-based anomaly detection systems. Microsoft, being one of the top 2 global cloud service providers, is undoubtedly proficient in handling security detection. And there are also some suspicions that someone within DeepSeek or an OpenAI user might have tipped off Microsoft. Of course, there were many similar claims about OpenAI in the past, like, hey, didn't you guys just train on everything without considering copyright? All things mentioned in the AI sector are continuously suspected of unauthorized data appropriation. On the other hand, OpenAI is encountering numerous challenges while managing ChatGPT. They have proposed restricting API usage to a certain extent and have implemented stronger user authentication and monitoring measures. Furthermore, they are working on watermarking technologies to detect unauthorized use when content is generated. Research is continuously being conducted on methods to prevent distillation and similar issues. In essence, these are OpenAI's efforts to combat such challenges through their services. There are concerns about copyright issues when training AI models, and it's true that AI is currently in a grey area. However, in the case of DeepSeek, it's suspected that they didn't just use the data directly. Instead, they might have used data generated by OpenAI's GPT models via API calls. They could have created synthetic data from it and applied that to DeepSeek. What we need to delve into here is the concept known as distillation. In simple terms, if we already have a well-established and knowledgeable teacher model, we need to meticulously distill the knowledge from this teacher model. You heat it up to extract the core essence. This distilled knowledge is then succinctly conveyed to the students. Ultimately, the goal is for the student model to provide answers to queries like the teacher model. Distillation is a process where the overall model is made smaller, while still maintaining a similar probability distribution for generating answers. So, if DeepSeek used some OpenAI data for distillation, it would look like this. By repeatedly querying the AI API with text inputs, responses can be gathered. This collected data can then be utilized to train models like DeepSeek v3 or the recently notorious R1. These models could potentially replicate the responses or performance of ChatGPT. While this isn't a definitive statement, the evidence of frequent API calls suggests this possibility. I'm not asserting this as a fact. However, it's conceivable that distillation, a widely adopted technique, might be at play here. We're seeing more and more models that use distillation to achieve nearly the same performance while being more compact. However, these advancements often arise in somewhat grey areas. While they lead to cost savings and better efficiency, and even slightly improved benchmark results, they also bring up concerns about potential misuse of intellectual property, which is the core issue here. Could OpenAI have used distillation to take Google's data as well? This suspicion can arise. The concept of distillation itself is something anyone can attempt, and if it's possible to call an API and receive something, there's no proof that anyone can do it. On the other hand, if Microsoft has evidence of frequent API calls from an entity like DeepSeek, they can make claims about it, which could be a concern. This isn't limited to distillation alone. The same applies to data augmentation. If we have the same image, we can modify it by rotating it vertically or at a 45-degree angle, adjusting its brightness, converting it to grayscale, or cropping it slightly. These alterations create augmented images. Essentially, this process involves tweaking or enhancing the existing data to expand the training dataset, thereby increasing its variety. By leveraging ChatGPT's outputs to create new text or modifying existing data to expand their dataset, DeepSeek might be advancing its capabilities. There are suspicions that these activities were conducted through numerous intensive API calls. If it is confirmed that DeepSeek has indeed misappropriated this technology, legal actions are expected. Against DeepSeek, it is possible to file an intellectual property infringement lawsuit, which could result in DeepSeek having to relinquish certain assets or face restrictions on the use of their technology. Of course, how developers might react to such decisions is uncertain. Moreover, this issue is not unique to DeepSeek. OpenAI, despite its name, operates as a closed AI. It seems that many AI companies are gearing up for stricter regulations. Governments worldwide are also likely to tighten rules on AI technology, focusing on data security and intellectual property protection. On the other hand, proving this isn't easy. It's unclear if it was actually used. For instance, even with copyright issues, it's not clear if OpenAI trained on certain data. If DeepSeek continues to grow, developers might start demanding to release DeepSeek, or there could be a possibility of reaching some sort of agreement based on this situation. The person you see is Liang Wenpeng, the CEO of DeepSeek AI. In the midst of this, there is an increasing interest in AI monitoring. Perspectives vary significantly across developers, company representatives, AI hardware manufacturers, and those involved in AI cloud or application services. To address these diverse viewpoints, I am producing a series of videos to discuss these topics comprehensively. Your feedback and insights would be greatly appreciated. We've also launched an international channel named Unreal Tech.